The age of relics is over, and the old rigid ways are superseded by a higher form of intelligence. A new era of data democracy has begun, the era of agility, ease, and true collaboration. This is the age of Naviloq, a turning point in data-driven business management and a unique navigation solution for growth journeys without borders. The new interactive generation of business intelligence and planning is here. Finance-focused, self-serving, and centralized. Naviloq, United Intelligence.
A very, very warm welcome, dear webinar guests. It is my pleasure to present you Naviloq, the next generation BI planning tool developed by Staria's own BI team. Today, you'll be learning more what the solution can offer to you and how exactly it represents a turning point in the industry. Naviloq is the newest version of Staria's already existing BI planning solution, and we have filled it with even more functionalities, ease of use, and performance. But just in order to be able to understand how we are starting a new generation, we will begin today by first taking a look at the current BI landscape, then discussing shortly what your staff needs, and then how Naviloq could actually be the answer. And this will be followed by a brief product demo, and we've also reserved some time in the end for your questions. But please go ahead and start submitting your questions already right now and during the webinar. We will try to cover them as many as we can at the end. But kicking things off with a few statistics and key numbers about the world of today in terms of BI, you could say that is characterized by division and disparity in access to meaningful insights. And this is well represented by the overall adoption rate of BI, especially within medium to large organizations. The number is quite appalling, to be honest, and there are several reasons behind this, but mainly the staggering inherent complexity of the most common BI solutions in the market ensure that most of the non-technical end users are not actually able to self-serve and use the solution by themselves to get access to the insights that they're looking for. This means that they are completely dependent on either internal or external data specialists to help them. So this division between in access to meaningful insights, the staggering level of complexity often just frustrates, especially finance and business users, and force them to resort back to using their old tools. For example, the de facto most popular BI solution on the planet called Microsoft Excel, and they forget all about the chosen BI solution in the organization. And it's only left in the hands of only a few skilled users. So in the end, what you're left with is a situation where there is a division between those who can actually navigate the BI tools and those who cannot. When users are not able to self-serve, the overall adoption rate drops. As we can see, that self-service is the key driver in all of user adoption. Users are actually looking for more dedicated views, more tailored experiences when it comes to using BI. And the way to achieve this is actually to build them the views that they need. And those views better speak the language that they understand. In order to achieve this kind of state, you would naturally need to incorporate data from all of your main operational data sources. But a prerequisite to that, most commonly, is actually a data warehouse. And most common BI solutions in the market also expect that there is a centralized place where they can tap into, where they can start retrieving already cleansed data. But such a state is sadly and by and large not achievable for the majority of businesses, since acquiring and implementing a proper data warehouse is just a bridge too far for many. Users would also like to see planning as a part of BI, but we all know that traditionally that's not the case. So they're also left to juggle between multiple solutions, mainly the BI and chosen planning solution or spreadsheets even. And that's also why they often resort back to using the old tools and forget adopting the latest tools. So in the end, users are looking to get functionalities that they are looking for the most. They are looking for more control and sense of ownership and overall responsibility. But you should also bear in mind the thought that in such cases, the benefits of BI are largely not being gained if only a handful of users are using it. So the maximum return of your investment has not come to fruition. So what's the use of a BI solution if no one is using it? And this actually leads us to the primary users of BI, according to studies, especially in small and medium-sized businesses that often have been ignored. And I'm of course talking about finance professionals. Herein lies the great irony within the BI space. Traditional BI solutions have often missed the mark when it actually comes to serving the needs of finance professionals. They need to be heavily customized in order to be able to carry out the finance and management reporting that companies want. And as said, they are technically extremely complicated to use by none other than trained data professionals. So historically speaking, finance has often been left to choose between either two simplistic reporting tools that are actually easy to use, or to go with heavy-duty data analysis tools if they're looking for proper functionality. But luckily, this is no longer the case, and Naviloq finally addresses this gap, and finance no longer need to choose between ease of use and functionality. So, all in all, what your staff needs is actionable insights right now and not like months away, with a no-code interface that they can actually use to find the insights that they're looking for, just so that they can be empowered with the data that they have access to, so that they have the control and ownership and responsibility of their own numbers. So what does Naviloq bring to the table? Firstly, Naviloq is integrated with all major ERPs, for example, like NetSuite. We are offering loads of standard content out of the box, ranging from all sorts of financial reports to sales reports, for example. I will be covering these more detail in the demo later on. What also differentiates us from other tools in the market are our extensive planning capabilities that we're bringing on the same cloud platform, as well as the built-in data warehouse that you can use to collect data from all of your key data sources, and where all of your data is kept safely stored, always in the right format, ready for your organization's reporting and analysis. And to top it all off, we have also implemented something called chat groups inside Naviloq. You could think of these much like a Teams space inside Naviloq, where you can actually collaborate with different stakeholders on the same platform, and you can use those chat groups to share your insights and ask questions about numbers from other users. And through our many pre-built integrations, all of your data is kept automatically up to date through scheduled data refreshes, even with your metadata being refreshed automatically. So you don't need to worry about having your data always up to date. And this is what defines Naviloq. We are characterized by unity, both the unity of functionality and the unity of users. Firstly, you don't need to care about all the traditional technical complexities that come with BI solutions in the market, since we have done the heavy lifting for you and pieced all the necessary elements together. So all in all, on the same cloud platform, we are offering you both planning that can be used to do budgeting, forecasting scenarios, collaboration through chat groups as discussed, reporting and analytics, both in terms of financial and operational reporting with no code and with an underlying built-in data warehouse to ensure the scalability of the tool. So through this unique combination, we state that Naviloq gives you united intelligence. And in practice, these are just a few examples that what we are able to do for you, both in the fields of reporting and analytics and forecasting and budgeting, and divided both into the financial and operational space. So all traditional stuff ranging from P&Ls to balance sheet and cash flow are covered, both in terms of reporting and planning, as well as traditional operational reporting needs around sales, performance management, customer profitability analysis, you name it, we've got it all covered. And again, these are just examples to give you some food for thought in terms of what we're able to do for you. And there's really no limit in terms of the customizability that we can offer with Naviloq. We have been able to serve multiple customers across different various industries, and we've been able to tackle all their needs around BI and planning. So again, Naviloq is the latest version of already existing solutions, so we have a proven track record of helping many customers in the Nordics and more widely across Europe. Here, a list of some of our key integrations. As mentioned, most common ERPs are supported, like Oracle NetSuite, as well as the most common accounting software and other data sources ranging from CRMs to the most common HR systems. And we are also more than happy to create new ones for your particular case if there's a integration that we have not been that we have not yet prepared. But now it's the time to actually look at the solution itself in more detail, and I'll be covering how Naviloq is actually finance focused and focused on self-service and collaboration. So I will be kicking things off with our nice, serene homepage where we've kept everything nice and tidy. Firstly, I'm presented with my recent dashboards that give me quick access to the most common dashboards that I've been using lately. Secondly, here on the feed, I see the most important communication that has been going on regarding myself or my user on the platform. So, for example, there's been some commentary going on, and my colleague has actually left me a question about my year-to-date actuals compared to the budgets. This represents the collaboration part of Naviloq, and I will come back to this towards the end of the demo, and you'll see how I can actually answer my colleague regarding this question. So you can access all important functionalities through the main menu here on the top left corner. So we have kept ease of use, user-friendliness, intuitivity as key focus in the design of our new user interface. So here you see all the important stuff. To begin with, your shortcuts to your favorite dashboard pages, as well as different workspaces, tools for data management, and the different libraries and designers that you have, both for reporting and planning. Beginning with shortcuts, here's one of my favorite dashboards, surprise, surprise, the financials overview. And this represents really, really well our key focus in finance. And Naviloq provides you multiple different types of financial reports out of the box, ranging from different types of P&Ls to balance sheet, and for example, to cash flow reports. We're also offering content account related to receivables out of the box for you. This way, you get to work with something already within days and instead of months. And on top of that, we will naturally customize the content to meet your specific needs. But if Naviloq is finance focused, it's not at all, or by no means, finance restricted, and it has been made to actually serve all stakeholders within the organization. And the way to do that is actually through workspaces. And through workspaces, you have the possibility to create dedicated and tailored views for different stakeholders, ranging from finance to management group, or to sales, or for HR for that matter. So you're able to import data from any data source into the built-in data warehouse and fill the different workspaces only with the content that is actually of interest to the user group in question. And you can make the dashboard speak their language. You're able to restrict the user access between the different workspaces, even at a dimension level, so you can be safe in the knowledge that users can see only the content that they're actually allowed to see. So just an example of a more dedicated workspace is the sales workspace. So here you can clearly see that this is only showing content that is of high interest to the salespeople. So we're not showing financial information here in a sense. We're just focused on sales, the top 50 customers in the current period, some comparison to previous months in terms of the sales across the customers, top 12 customers rolling over 12 months, and so on and so on. But then in terms of the self-service and how able you're actually, or how easily you're able to create new content. So let's just access a workspace and let's start. Let's just testing out how easy it actually is to incorporate all the different functionalities that Naviloq provides you. So here is just a standard reports workspace, and I can just turn on the edit mode, and already I can start playing around with all the content. I'm going to go ahead and just create a new page on the workspace, and I can just rename it to be page number 1, like so. And then I can start adding any content that I like. Again, in Naviloq, there are no artificial boundaries between the different functionalities of the solution. So I can go ahead and start adding firstly a visualization of my data. For example, EBITDA actuals, simply by clicking add. Here's my visual. And then if I like, I have the complete freedom to also add a planning table here right on the same dashboard. So let's just go ahead and add the fixed costs planning template right underneath this. This way, Naviloq gives you like the ultimate level of flexibility when it comes to creating content. You have all the options available to you always at your fingertips, and you can always start with the same blank canvas and start building exactly what you need, compared to other traditional software where you have like different spaces for your different functionalities. A certain place for your planning templates and a certain place for your reports. So we can also move the content around freely and make the content larger and or smaller, and just make the space look like as we want within the grid that has been provided to us. But that's in terms of the just editing the workspace content. Then again, if I'm just going to leave this edit mode, if you want to start editing an existing report, that happens also via no code. I can just simply click this profit and loss comparisons report and start editing the report directly, which will save all the changes that I've made, or I can open it to Analyzer which will allow me to do ad hoc analysis on the report. I can change what the report looks like. I can change the data it is showing, but none of those changes that I make will be stored. This way, you don't need to actually first export the data into Excel, or although you can very well do that with Naviloq, but you can do ad hoc analysis here on the same platform. So all the features in terms of editing reports and opening to Analyzer are actually the exact same. So if I'm going to show you the edit report view, you can see already that there's a bunch of stuff important to finance here right out of the box. You know, stuff like cumulative actuals, comparisons between previous year and budget, and so on and so on. Naviloq also natively recognizes concepts important to finance, for example, reporting periods and fiscal years and charts of accounts and so on, making it this an ideal tool for you to use day to day. Then in terms of one example of the no-code functionalities are the formula members that you can easily edit here just by clicking through in the user interface. So here we have different types of calculated members from EBIT to gross margin, and you can just simply create new ones by clicking the plus icon, and you can use our wizard to create these calculations instead of having to write down code to make these calculations happen. So you can use just the wizard to write down your code and then just simply select where you want to actually display this calculated member on the report or on the P&L. As easy as that. And even all the planning templates can be edited via the user interface with no code. So right in the user interface, you're actually able to create quite complex planning formulas already without our support and without any programming knowledge. But how do all these different functionalities then look from the perspective of an end user? So let's just pretend for a while that I am actually the leader of certain business units. I can access my dedicated workspace through here, and it's one of my recent dashboards. And this is a view that has been customized to meet my needs specifically. Here you can see that I have different reports around profit and loss, then some customer group reports, and then finally 3 different planning templates, which I will come back to in a minute. So these different reports have been deemed to be important for me. So here I should take a look at my actuals and my forecast, and then also my budget. I have a P&L comparison here, showing my actuals compared to year to date, to previous year to date, and to budget. Visuals ranging to EBITDA, and also vast amounts of historical data on past performance, firstly broken down to quarters and then to the reporting periods themselves. Again, showing our focus in finance being able to detect these different time periods. Then if I take a quick look at the customer group reports, easily, nicely readable waterfall charts showing me how the revenue is actually being broken down across the different customer groups, and ending in EBITDA analysis. We are also able to incorporate data bars in all of the table visualizations, so you can easily see where the major differences are coming from. But what makes Naviloq truly different from other solutions in the market are the comprehensive built-in drill down tools that you can actually use to find insights easily. So again, we are all about empowering every user to be able to make insights. So you don't even need to start creating your own reports like I just showed you how you can edit them with no code. You can just simply use the built-in analysis tools to find the answers that you need. To begin with, if I would like to know that if I'm looking at the total revenue for November, I can see that is the highest month in terms of total revenue. I might wonder, okay, how has been this revenue split across the different business units? I can just simply click on the data point and choose the drill down tree option. So it will first show me the total value, and I can then actually break this into by any attribute in my data. So be it business units or something else. But in this case, I was interested about my business units. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the business unit name over here. And this will break the total amount into the different business units. And I can see that the organization C was actually the best performing business unit. Then if I take another look at the data, I can see that February, there is actually a huge drop compared to January. And I might wonder, what is causing that? I can then choose the drill down analysis function to show me the trends in my data. And again, this number has been, or total number has been split across the different business units. And I could also change the comparison period. I was interested about the previous period, but I could also change the analysis to show the comparison to previous year forecast, or even compared to my budgets. Also, the trend can be changed over here to show different time periods than months. And I can also change the number of preceding periods in the trend visualizations, like so. Now we're showing only 6 months. But here we can see that, oh my God, organization A has been performing really, really badly compared to the previous period. So I can actually highlight this analysis, and I can share this in my chat groups to other users. For example, in the business unit chat group, and I can ask other users to comment on this. For example, I can ask my colleague Nora to comment on this, and I can paste what is going on, and I can actually paste my finding, the drilled analysis, on the chat group, and I can also notify Nora by email as well that I've actually made a question to her. And I can just post this question to Nora, and then she can see the exact view that I was looking at with my question. And this also leads back to the question that I saw on my home dashboard in the beginning. There was a question left by my colleague here about the budget comparisons. Teemu has asked me, could you explain where differences between year-to-date actuals and budget come from? And here, Teemu has actually included explain change snapshot here, showing me the explain change that he made when he did an analysis on the actuals versus budget. And how Teemu actually achieved this, we can actually replicate this by actually showing the exact same functionality here. If we just take a look at the year-to-date actuals that are actually over budget, we can simply drill down over here and choose explain change and choose to compare it with our year-to-date budget. This is something that has been very, very frequently requested, so you can easily see through this analysis what attributes in your data are best explaining the change compared to your budget. But then we also support planning inside the same workspace. So here we have a PLL planning model. So in Naviloq, you're able to do planning top down or bottom up. You get to choose, meaning that we are able to start entering numbers on an account level if we want, but there are multiple different features that make actually your top down planning really, really easy. So let's say we want to do a quick forecast update and just increase the total amount of turnover by 10% in this latest forecast. I can go ahead and directly start typing in a formula here in the cell. So 1.1 times the previous amount that I had, and click enter. And it will automatically increase the total amount of revenue that I'm forecasting. I could also choose one of the default allocation methods that we have, and I can input the total amount based on my previous year actuals, so that it will automatically take into account the seasonality in my data. So I could do again the same. I could then also increase the total number by another 10%, and then this total amount will be, oh sorry, that was a mistake that I made, will be, let's just try that again because I made a mistake, for example, by 90 million, like so, and it will be distributed according to the relations in the data based on previous year's actuals. And all these changes will automatically be reflected in my reports in planning or in reporting. And that's the beauty of having both planning and reporting on the same cloud platform. I can always click undo, and you can see the changes reflected. You can see that we also support multiple different versions in planning. So this means that you're always able to create new versions, and this allows you to easily do rolling forecasts and scenario modeling as well, as easy as that. And different planning templates can be used to fill data to your other planning models. For example, you can create a separate template for your salary planning. Here we have a different template just for personnel costs alone, broken down by employee level. And all this data that I enter here will be automatically guided into my P&L, or ultimately into my cash flow if I would have a cash flow forecast in place. So here I can start making edits to the individual salaries of my employees. So I might know that salesperson number 3 might be expecting a salary increase in May. I can just type in 4,500 as a salary increase over here. And if I want to reflect this salary increase for all the future months as well, I can just simply right-click and choose repeat values to the right. And then automatically all the months have been updated with the new salary. We have also the possibility to create different types of automated calculations. And here as an example of that, all these social security related costs are automatically calculated once I've updated my new personnel costs. So making social security cost planning really, really easy. And then finally, there's an example in terms of product sales. So here I have all my different product groups, their sales based on previous year, and then a margin calculation. And I could also alter top down the total amount of sales expected for a certain product group, but I can also change the expected margin for a single product group, and it will automatically calculate the direct costs related to that product group. So there's really no limit in terms of the calculations that we're able to have in place. And we are, for example, more than equipped to do driver-based planning based on all of your different data sources to make your planning process really, really easy. But all in all, these were the highlights of the demo of the most frequently requested functionalities that we've implemented. Now it would be a good time to start going through your questions that you might have come up with during the presentation. So there's actually one question about how integrated is Naviloq with NetSuite as part of Staria's package. Does the interface exist already or need to be established? So Naviloq supports an out-of-the-box integration with NetSuite. This means that Naviloq exists outside NetSuite alone. So this is an external solution, but with our out-of-the-box integration, we are able to retrieve all of the data that the NetSuite's API allows us to retrieve. And then all the data NetSuite holds can be used in reporting and in planning. That was a good question. And then another question is, Naviloq developed by Staria? Indeed, Naviloq has been fully developed by Staria's own internal BI team. And Naviloq is the latest version to the existing BI planning solution that Staria has been offering also in the past. So we took our existing BI solution and made it even better with the most cutting edge functionalities and next level performance. And we also took all of our customer feedback into our hearts and implemented the most frequently requested features. Good. Any other questions? Yes, there is one. For the already user of our old solution, Hubia, is there some significant upgrade in Naviloq compared to Hubia? There is actually several improvements that we've made. To begin with, the elimination of those artificial boundaries between reporting and planning. There are none anymore, so you can freely mix and match all the different content on the dashboards, as you already saw during the demo. Then the performance has been vastly improved, which is roughly 20 times better compared to the previous version. And then we're also bringing in loads of new visualizations, functionalities, and essentially the entire planning functionality has been redesigned and made available to every user through no-code functionalities. So there was also a question about Naviloq doing both analytics, planning, and reporting for all data content. That is exactly right. And that is why we like to refer to Naviloq using the term United Intelligence. So on the same cloud platform, you're able to carry out both analytics, reporting, and planning for all of your data, whatever the data source might be. Good. But if there are there's actually one final question. There was as the single BI app needed. Not sure if I understand fully this question, but if this is a question about is Naviloq the only BI app you're ever going to need, naturally we aim to serve all the different stakeholders within the organization and as many use cases as possible. But Naviloq is heavily focused to serve the needs of specifically finance and business users, those end users with no technical skills to actually maintain or edit a BI solution. That's what we're after. We're after empowering everyone. That is not to say that organizations can actually benefit of having multiple BI solutions in place. In terms of BI, more could very well be more in order to actually generate better overall adoption of a BI. So you can have more dedicated BI tools for different stakeholders. So for example, more data orientated end users might have a different solution for them in use. But good. Thank you for those great questions. And before I leave you, I just want to represent this webinar offer to all attendees around Naviloq that is available to you until the end of October. All webinar attendees have the option to redeem this special offer for a completely free of charge implementation of our standard template to the supported source systems. So this is a one-time offer only around the launch of Naviloq. But with that, Thank you very much for joining today's webinar, and I wish you a very, very good day.